Hi everyone, Gail here, back for part 2 of my journal collection update. And we are going to start this one with this beautiful, big, luscious journal from my friend Laurie Fusco at Girl on the Ridge on YouTube and Ridge Creations on Etsy. Again, I will have those linked below. I talked about in my last video, I think, how sometimes you just see a journal on a video and you're just like, I am in love with that and I need it in my life. And that's how I felt about this journal. I loved the little pieces of quilt that Laurie used, and here's the actual cover. I love the colors. I love the shabby chiciness of it, and yeah, it just had to come live with me. And I'm almost done with the journal that I am currently using for kind of my daily journaling, and so this one's next because my very first journal that I showed in my my first journal collection series, my first journal that I really started journaling in was a journal from Laurie. And I had so much fun with it because there's such a variety in her pages. She decorates really heavily, so I always kind of keep something handy so that I can write on things, because like I can't find an example right off, but like there's sometimes it's bumpy to write because there's so much embellishing, which I don't mind at all because I just put a little card or magazine or something in there. So anyway, this one was all kind of pinks and greens, and she used some of her beeswax as she does, which I love so much. And she had all these sparkly little embellishments, and yeah, it's a gorgeous journal, and just so much variety, so many places to journal, and so many fun things to do in this one. I love it when there's a page where I can put a day on this one, and I can put a day on this one. I can write here and on the other side. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Laurie's, and she knows that. I tell her often because I don't know, I love her style. It's so fun how we do develop a style as we're doing our journal making, and Laurie's is distinctive. It's just you could put 4, 5, 6 journals in front of me and one of them be Laurie's and I could pick it right out because I'm just drawn to her like that. So this is my gorgeous journal, and once again she does have a full flip through where she talks about what she's done, and she added a little envelope of goodies for me too, which was so sweet. So love this journal, Laurie, and it's going to be my next one. The last one took me a year to fill, and it was about this size. So we'll be spending a lot of time together for the next year. Yeah, so there's my Laurie journal. Okay, and then these journals came from Susie at Creative Café Girl, and Susie does great work. She inspires me so much. These two I got from her. This was funny. There was a lot of organization that had to go into getting these situated and making sure I knew the YouTube and the Etsy names and all of that stuff. But I'm going through and I'm like looking at this one, and I'm like, oh, did Susie make this or did Diane H make this? I can't remember. Oh, so, but I'm pretty sure it was Susie, but we're going to do Diane H next. So I kind of put it in the middle because I wasn't sure, but I'm pretty sure this was a Susie journal. So first one I got here from Susie was just a little bag journal. I love these. I make them myself, but you know, I love other people's journals. And so I sell mine so that I can buy from others. It's just kind of a vicious circle, isn't it? But Susie does such fun sewing in her journals. And again, her taste is similar to mine, and I love the grunginess of this little journal. It's just darling. I love it. So that little bag journal I popped on over and bought one day. Usually one night. Usually I'm watching videos at night, and it's like my resistance is down, so I hop on over to Etsy and purchase them. But you know, it's so much fun. This one Susie made from an art journaling magazine, and I liked it because this one lady that's featured in the magazine, her name is Gayle Price, and she spells it like I do, Gayle. So I thought that was kind of fun. And yeah, so she made the cover out of the art journaling magazine. This is one of the guest checks that Susie embellished, and she inspired me to get busy and embellish some guest checks, and really super fun. So I had put one in one of my journals that I sold, but I wanted to keep this one, so I tucked it in this little journal. But yeah, she just used the magazine pages and stuff, and yeah, it's just real fun. And the funny thing is, I have this art journaling magazine, you know, seriously, could have made my own, but I love seeing what other people do and how they put it together, and you know, where their imagination takes them. I think you could give this art journaling book to 10 different journal artists, and they'd all come up with something different. So that's kind of the fun of it. So that's this one. I can't quite get that on with one hand, so we'll leave that. And then this one, I don't know what magazine this was from. It looks like Somerset or something. But she made some really cool tuck spots and everything in it, and I just loved it. See, this washi tape had me thrown. That's when I was like, was this made by Diane? And it might have been. So this one was either Susie at Creative Cafe Girl, or it was Diane H from Pretty Pink Cottage on Etsy. So let's just put that disclaimer in. I couldn't remember for sure. And look at this collage. That reminds me of Diane too. So this very well could have been one that I bought from Diane. I'm sorry, I don't remember. There's a plus for, you know, putting in your card or putting a stamp on it or something that says it was made by you. So yeah, but real pretty, just a real pretty little traveler's notebook. I love this. So there's that one. And then the other journals I have from Diane H are so much fun. So this one Diane made out of a vintage book, and she had showed these covers on her YouTube channel and said, if anyone's interested, let me know. And I just emailed her right away and said, Diane, I would like the Tempest and Sunshine. I just loved it. So this one I am using because the other way that Diane has inspired me is she keeps a reading journal. And so I started this as my reading journal because you see the little Victorian lady is reading a book there. So I thought this is the perfect journal for a reading journal. So I've just done some things like on the guest check, I've listed, these are the books that I read since I retired before I started this journal. So I put those down. Then I've kind of been keeping track of them as I read them. And just the other day, I am a huge fan of Lisa Gardner. She writes kind of whodunit mystery type books. And I've read a bunch of her books. but I haven't read all of them, and I have more in my library that I can read, but I wanted to kind of keep track, so I just made a little list where I could check them off. And I learned on the internet that she wrote her early books, she wrote them as Alicia Scott, and she actually wrote some Harlequin romances. So I thought that was really kind of cool. So that little list is in there so I can refer to it and tuck it in my purse if I'm going to the thrift store and, you know, and pick up more of her books. So that's there. But Diane just, you know, it's just a beautiful journal. It's in Diane's style. She's got a full flip through on her channel of this journal, but I love it, and it's going to be really just fun to have a whole journal dedicated to the other love of my life, which is reading. Diane used a lot of the things that in this that she knows I love, since it was a custom order, a lot of vintage. Here's a little vintage cards. Yeah, so this one from Diane H. And then this one, oh my gosh, this one's from Diane H too, and it's a Wizard of Oz journal. And you guys, Diane wasn't sure she was going to sell this, and I told her, if you decide to, I want it, but if you decide to keep it, that's great too. And sure enough, she went ahead and sold me this Wizard of Oz journal, and I absolutely love it. Love it, love it. So this is one that I just will thumb through, and my grandkids will love looking through it too. And it's got some really interesting graphics and things, and some cool papers, and ooh, look at that witch. That lady gave me nightmares in my childhood like no other. Oh, but yeah. So Diane does have a full flip through of this one as well in on her YouTube channel. So, oh, we're doing so good. So again, we've got Diane H. She is Pretty Pink Cottage on Etsy. We've got Susie from Creative Café Girl on YouTube and Etsy, and then Laurie Fusco. She is Girl on the Ridge on YouTube and Ridge Creations on Etsy. So that's batch number 2. We'll see you back here for part 3. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.